Hey everyone, welcome to the Rugger. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the Irish provinces are doing after this weekend at the URC and a little bit about the Irish squad, how they're shaping up for New Zealand on Saturday in Chicago. So, to start things off, we had Ulster playing the Lions down in Johannesburg. Didn't work out from this time. Unfortunately, the winning streak is over. The Lions won 49 points to 31. It was a very hot game. There was a lot of stoppages, like water breaks, things like that. Now, it was quite close until the last quarter, until the Lions really started to pull away. And then 10 minutes, they scored 3 tries. So, unfortunately, it's a loss for Ulster. But Balogun is really looking nice. He scored a hat trick, 3 tries. It's been a while since I saw that. So, he could be still on the list, I suppose, for an Irish winger, let's say 6 months from now, if he continues this form. He just always seems to get injured at the wrong time. He's a bit like Jacob Stockdale that way. So I don't know. Watch this space. Let's see how he does. But delighted he got so many tries in. So that was Ulster. And you had Leinster against Zebre. And this was in the Aviva at 50 points to 26. Leinster are getting back up the ranks a little bit. They needed that win because they've had a very weird start to the season. It's rare to see Leinster lose so many games in such a short space of time. To put into context, they've lost more games now than they have the entire previous season. So, just seems a little bit off for Leinster standards. Now, to be fair, they could just be reversing their strategy of instead of bulldozing opposition now and losing later, they're slowly progressing into their season and then win the clutch games at the end, hopefully, for them. But yeah, we'll see. It was just a little bit depleted. A lot of the guys have gone to the November international squad, so they were without a lot of their heavy hitters. But Zebra were still, up to half time, pretty much right there with them. So it wasn't really, a foregone conclusion. But Leinster just did their normal thing in the second half and just pulled away with try after try. But in the future, let's say we're going to just see Leinster get better and better once everyone comes back after November. Word for Casper Gabriel. He is now officially been cited, I suppose. There's been a lot of hype about him, but we have seen him in a Leinster jersey. It wasn't a great start. He was only on for 5 minutes and missed his kick, but it was rotten luck. It was just fell off the tee at the wrong time. But it's great to put a face to the name because there has been a lot of rumblings about this guy, Casper Gabriel, and more fly halves we have in the fight against each other. Steel seems to sharpen steel that way, so I think the more we have, the better. So exciting to see him finally on the stage. Then we had Munster against Connacht. So this was kind of the game everybody was waiting for based on last week, I suppose, because last week had set such a marker down. It was just such a great game of rugby. This one felt disappointing. It was slow going. It was in Thomond Park. It was a close game, but there was a lot of chopping and changing. There's a lot of stopping. O'Donoghue, he gets 2 tries. Kilgalgan gets a try for Munster. Then for Connacht, Royston gets 2 tries. Boyle gets a try. It's just JJ Hanrahan, I'm just not sure on. It just seems that there's a big drop off for 10 there. Just seems like, he's just not the same caliber as Jack Crowley. But look, it's the start of the season. We'll see. Piardi's gotten a lot of flack about his handling of that game, which I was surprised at because I actually thought he had a good game. That was a tough game to ref. A lot of chopping and changing. Scrum wasn't working out, according to him anyway. And he did call out a Munster player, which I have to commend, about shouting at the ref, which we don't want to see in rugby. It's not soccer, so you have to say that kind of thing needs to be encouraged, needs to be promoted more. Chefs shouldn't be, not chefs, refs shouldn't be afraid to say that. So yeah, that was Munster winning, and that's the end of their season for now. For the break, so they have done quite well, 5 from 5 with Clayton McMillan. He seems to be really getting on well with the Munster ethos, so let's hold on to him for a while. It seems he seems to be very in sync with the way Munster are thinking at the moment. But Connacht, to be fair, they have only won one game, but it's early days, and they nearly did beat the Bulls last week. They nearly beat Munster. I mean, it was only 2 points in it. So I think they're only getting started. I don't, we're going to see what Stuart Lancaster does here, but he hasn't even begun. I think he's going to have a real positive effect on Connacht. So watch this space. I think they will get better as the season goes on. But if you look at the table, Connacht are the Irish province at the lowest at 12, and then you have Munster is way at the top at 2. Stormers are number 1, but Munster are just on their heels, and then Leinster are 7. And then you have Ulster at 5, who also have missed the game because of Storm Amy, like Connacht. So they could even be higher. And I think Connacht could probably be a lot closer to the top 8 if they had played that game against Scarlets. So that's something to keep in mind. I think if we have all provinces in the top 8, we're doing well. That's good for Irish rugby. We're chugging along because we want to stay competitive from province to province. So it could be a lot worse. So yeah, it seems to be in a good place actually. So we'll see what happens when everyone is back in November. Now about the internationals, technically the autumn internationals have started. Before I get into about the New Zealand game, we did have Japan and Australia play in Tokyo over the weekend. Kind of went totally unnoticed, I suppose, because of the URC games. But Australia were lucky to come away with the win. It was 19 points to 15. So, you're kind of surprised to hear a result like that because Australia seemed to be coming back to form with Joe Schmidt. They played really well during the Lions tour. So 4 points is quite a small margin. But it's not to be notched. Japan can be really, really good. They're a really kinetic, technical team. So it's great. I'm a big fan of them when they really look good out there. They're just always creating upsets left, right, and center. So good to see Japan really giving Australia a good challenge there. So the New Zealand game is on the horizon. We're counting down on the days here. So we do have a schedule that's out. It's on Instagram. It's on the IRFU Instagram profile. It's got the whole week kind of covered. For me, it's like the 6 days of Christmas or something. I just really love the hype that's from this game. So if you look at it, on Monday, we have the squad walkthrough. On Tuesday, we've got squad training and the media day. That's going to be interesting because usually when they do the media events, it's with people being interviewed that are definitely going to be on the playing squad. So it's always a kind of hint to see who's going to be on that day. Wednesday, you've got your squad training. Thursday is the team announcement. Sorry for Friday, I should have put down captain's run. And then Saturday, you have the game. So Thursday is really the day that you're going to be looking at for what is going to happen. What's the squad going to look like? They normally release it around 12 noon or 1 p.m., maybe 2. So it's a perfect thing to watch when you're at lunch away from work or something to really kind of scrutinize who's been picked. So I would be expecting a very well-established first 15. I would be very surprised if there's someone on there we weren't expecting. Probably Tom Farrell would be fantastic if he was picked at centre because there is a problem at centre at the moment, according to the latest news on injuries. But he would be the only one that would be really left field. I think everybody else is pretty established, especially the front pack. But I suppose after last week's game, Jack Crowley has just put down such a marker. You would expect Andy Farrell to be picking him for a starting 10, but we'll see. We'll wait and see. For the injuries, it's unfortunate. Idogbo and Gleeson are both out. 2 Munster guys that were really looking great last week. Just unfortunately went off with injuries, so they had to be called off as cover for the Chicago team. Bundy Aki and Robbie Henshaw, they are still continuing to be assessed, but they have had injuries, so they could be could not be picked this week. We'll wait and see. But unfortunately, Mac Hansen is out completely, so he is still in Ireland. He didn't go to Chicago just because he got his foot pretty wrecked in the game against Bulls last week. So that's really unfortunate because he always seems to go up a level when he's with Andy Farrell. Andy Farrell just really believes him. He seems to just be a fixed right winger, and it's unfortunate to get that injury at that time. But on the plus side, as I said, we have Tom Farrell now in the equation. He's 32 years old. He's never been capped by Ireland. Everybody's always saying, put him on, put him on. So this could be his time to shine. It'd be great to see him even just on the bench for the All Blacks game. So we'll have to wait and see, but great to have him there with the squad. And Jimmy O'Brien has also been added, who's a great player. So yeah, that is where the squad is at the moment. Anything can happen during the week. People could get injured just during training. So you never know what you're going to get until the day. There's always some last minute thing. And even then, when they're picked on the day, someone could get pulled out for injury right before the game. So we'll wait and see. But that is the roundup for the URC. And looking at what it looks like for Chicago, it's going to be a big deal. It's a heck of a game to start with. Ireland are rusty. You know, they haven't played in a while. Over the summer, they played pretty passable teams, Georgia and Portugal. And that wasn't even with the proper squad because most of the guys were at the Lions tour. So as an Irish player perspective, they're rusty. So we'll see. But it's going to be a big occasion. It's Chicago. 9 years ago, we beat them for the first time, the New Zealand All Blacks. There's the whole point of Anthony Foley's anniversary, the 9-year anniversary of his death. So you feel like they're going to do another figure eight out there on Soldier Field. So we'll see. But I hope, as long as the game matches the hype, I'm happy either way. So yeah, until then, we'll wait and see who gets picked. I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed your rugby over the weekend. Thanks. Bye.